Ayo, lovelies, it is I, myself, Kid V, with the heart of thunder, with the main shooter, Monty Ariez. You know who it is, it's the guys you love, it is the neighborhood. Alright, here we go!
Yeah, hey, it's all good in the neighborhood. Hey, break bread in the neighborhood. Hey, lunch stays in the neighborhood. Shoot shots all day in the neighborhood. Yeah, hey, it's all good in the neighborhood. Hey, break bread in the neighborhood. Hey, lunch stays in the neighborhood. Shoot shots all day in the neighborhood.
Ayo, lovelies. It is I, myself, Kid V, and of course, beside me is my co-host, my tag team partner, my brother, Monty Ariez.
Yes, sir, man. What it do, what it do. It is another Friday in the neighborhood, man. And just because we're kind of doing this all post and stuff, there's no guarantee if this pod is going to be a video pod. And if it is going to be a video pod, this portion of the pod and probably the outro of the pod are not going to be video. So we're going to keep it pretty short and sweet for the most part. That way we don't, waste y'all's time watching just a still shot. Right. But yeah, it's another Friday, man. And we people of our word, people of our word. Why are we people of our word?
Well, that's easy. Because we made one announcement on the last pod. One announcement. Last Friday.
Last Friday, we said what?
We said we was going to have a WWE2K game developer right here on the Neighborhood Pod. And
Yes,
you know
sir.
what? You know what we did?
We did just that.
We did exactly that.
Yeah, and that's why y'all tuning in today. Because today we get Cornell Gunter in the Neighborhood Pod, yo. If y'all don't know who he is, go ahead, search him up on Twitter, search him up on social media, all right? He's a part of the development team. He's a part of the creative team over there at 2K and working on the WWE games and all that good jazz.
And #1 draft pick for a WWE2K
Ass whooping.
Right?
Okay, because he will lay the boost to all y'all's candy asses, man. Take it firsthand. That's what Al told us.
Yep.
And you end up hearing it from Cornell himself. He's like, yeah, I be laying the boots, bruh. Laying the boots. But yeah, we finally got it, man. Big thank you to freaking 2K team over there. Big thank you to Al. Big thank you to Cornell just for taking that time just to make some time for us to just shoot the shiz. You know what I'm saying? Well, we ain't nobodies. We nobodies actually. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we're a small pod, we're developing, we're growing, and opportunities like this just to chop it up and just get to know other people in the same industry we all love.
Yep.
It helps us the same way that it helps them. So it's just I was just so grateful. I loved every second of this, man.
There was not a part in this interview that wasn't, edge of your seat. I've got to listen to what's coming out. What was it you said at the end? Wisdom and experience or something like that.
Wisdom and experience. This conversation is all about wisdom and experience, man. And I hope all our listeners get something from this. So we're just gonna leave it at that, man.
We're
Okay,
gonna hop right in.
Okay, so make sure you if you driving, you know what I'm saying, got your seatbelt on. If you pulling up the Dunkins, make sure you tipping the cashier. Make sure you getting the flavor of the month. No, I don't know what it is this month. I've been not tapped in. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. Things been a little busy. But make sure you do all that good jazz, man, because this one is a really good one. We get a little emotional. Oh, I got a little emotional near some aspects, but it was some real stuff, man. And big thank you to everybody. Can't say it enough. It was the best. It's honestly my favorite freaking episode that we've done so far.
And we haven't even finished recording it.
Right? So without further ado, Cornell Gunter, baby. All right, man.
Woo.
We is here, dog. It's finally happened. We made the announcement on our pod not too long ago. Actually, a couple weeks ago, but it was getting through all the communications, all that stuff. And now we finally got it set up. We got Mr. Cornell Gunter in the crib today, man.
This is
What's up, guys? How y'all doing? Thank you
man.
for having me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Nah, for sure, dog. Thank you for, like we said off air, thank you for just taking the time to, like, make time for us. You know what I'm saying? And I was looking forward to this, man, because I was telling Al off air that like I wanted to stray away so much. Like there's so many content creators out there that like are covering the game, that are having these type of, you know, talks with developers on y'all's end, but then talking about the game. And yeah, I would love to talk about the game, but I also want to know about the people, know about the person.
Yeah.
And specifically for me, I feel you get so much bullshit heat on Twitter, bro. And I see it and I'm just like, golly, man. Like give the man a break, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I was telling Al, like, I have a friend in the video game industry, being a developer, and he'd be working on his passion project. And with that passion project, like I've seen the struggles and like the cans and cannots that he has to deal with. So like when I got that taste of like how that is on that end of the business, it made me like find a whole different like appreciation and understanding for like games that I follow heavy. So like the WWE games, I'm a big fan. I get the games every year. So it was just like for me, I would ask about, you know, I would ask the common questions like, why aren't we having this? Why aren't we having that? Why can't they just do this? But then when you think about it and I hear what my man's is telling me, and I'm like, damn, okay. That makes a lot of sense now, man.
Much harder than it sounds.
Yeah, dude. So I kind of wanted to take that time to make sure that you had that opportunity to just kind of share yourself, you know?
No, thank you, man. And it is one of the things too where, you know, well, hold on. First thing first, thank y'all so much for having me. I truly do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity to come on your platform. You know, it's not easy to do our job, but it's not easy to do what you guys are doing either. Put yourself out there, put yourself on a platform, be able to talk about things freely. And right now, we live in a society where everybody has an opinion about stuff. And sometimes it's good and it's all perspective, right? But it's not easy. It's not easy to do this all the time. It's not easy to sit down and talk to somebody and get to know them while continuously doing what you're doing in your personal lives. So, you know, just much love to you guys and thank you so much for the invite. I'm very thankful to be here. You know, I will say, you know, regarding the stuff about me on the Twitter situation with me and like the response I get back, it does like I never get upset. I tell people this all the time. Like I understand there's frustration. I understand there's things that you want. Why? Because what I look like acting like I don't know anything. I'm a very, very hardcore player. The folks that know me, I am a very, very competitive player. If there were the pros, like, you know, you have your esports stuff or NBA 2K and all these other things. It was that I would be the #1 draft pick for WWE2K. Right. But see, that's the thing. That's how I move as a competitive player. Right. So, and what that means is like, for me, it's like, I've been playing WWE since I could crawl. Right. So if I would ever turn my nose up to the community, then I would be the fakest person ever, because before I got to 2K, when I was at WWE, I was still tweeting my passionate things. I never forget when Bianca came out, her rating was like an 86 one year, and she had just won Elimination Chamber. She had just won this Survivor Series stuff. She was going on to win Armenia. I was like, heck no, why is the OBR messed up? I understand it, and that's why I never take it personal. Because also, like, without our community, and people think, oh, you're just saying, no, without the community, we're not able to do what we do. Right. And that's for anybody, right? If you're, as you guys know, as when you're in the ring, without the people in the stands, you can't do anything. So for us, it's like, we never take it personal. And even when some people come crazy, like sometimes I'll go back and forth. People are like, oh, I'm not mad. I was like, I joke with people, but then I also realize some people don't know because they don't know me. So my sense of humor sometimes might be taken a little bit different. So that's why I was like, all right, I tell people, I understand you got a frustration. Please just let me know your frustration. And like, I can go ahead and give it back to my team or the people who are on those respective modes, and we can keep it pushing.
Yeah. Beautiful. 100%, man. So with all that stuff being said, dude, like, before we get into those like real questions that we had set up, you know, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you come up? You know what I'm saying? And like, I know the question wasn't on there, but like I didn't know you had an association with the WWE. So if you can briefly touch on that and what you did on that, I'm very interested, bro.
So I mean, coming up, man, you know, I was an aspiring, you know, I wanted to play basketball overseas. Like I didn't the NBA stuff, I knew that just wasn't me. God bless people with certain things, and I knew that was not in my cards. But I do know that I was a good enough player to play and compete overseas. And then I had an injury, and then next thing you know, I had tore my quad, so I was out for X amount of months. And then I ended up getting hit up by EA Sports randomly. And it was like, "Hey, do you want to come in for a play test?" And I was like, is this really EA? Let me check this email. I called up there and it was like, "Yeah, this is legit. Come up." I was like, "Okay, yeah." So I went up there and I just started doing like in-house play tests and these kinds of things, giving them direct feedback. And then that turned in from one thing to like they called me back the next week and they kept calling me back. And I was like, all right, the next thing you know, I got a month-long project on NBA Live 15 or 16 where they wanted me to go back and review it and give my opinions and break down the modes. And I'm writing these reports to the team. And then I was like, hey, after a while, I was like, hey, I can walk again. Like I'm back normal. Like I can't hoop. I gotta get back in shape, but I need to go to work. And it was like, well, we got a QA position here. And I was like, really? So then I applied and I do want to say that there's a man by the name of Chris Schimmel who was at EA Sports at that time. And when I interviewed for the position, it was like him and like 5 to 6 other department leads and like managers and all these kind of things. And it was like the first time I'm sitting in like a big boy situation. And I was scared as hell. Scared as hell because it's like it's my dream and it's like my heart's like this is all I ever wanted to do type of situation. And I'm trying to look at every single person in there and nobody was like, sometimes you talk to somebody, you see if they're really like feeling what you're saying because you see by their body. Everybody was just kind of like, but one person, Chris Schimmel, he locked in with me and he looked at me, I looked at him and I ain't stopped looking at him the whole time.
Nice.
And he gave me the opportunity to be into the industry. And I started out at QA, Madden Mobile, NBA Live Mobile. And then within 7 months, I ended up getting promoted to the brand team and the marketing team to help promote those games. And I ended up doing community work. Then I ended up doing influencer work. And then I ended up coming back on another contract to work on Madden Longshot. Then I helped out with Mutt. Then they was like, hey, help out with NBA Live. So then I started helping out with NBA Live. And then I really found my footing coming into game development. I was a live service producer for NBA Live 19 and 20. So if we were doing live events, we were doing all these other little things back in the day. And that's why I really cut my teeth into like game development. And that's why I found my love for like live services, always on type of situation. So that really kept me like, I was like, oh, I love this stuff. I love it. And then, then I got a call from Stanford and I was like, and that came together because Tom Phillips, Apollo Crews, Tom Phillips, and my man Tamario. But definitely more so Tom Phillips. I basically talent used to come when they used to come to Orlando, like Xavier and Up Down Down and all that kind of stuff. When they always come to Orlando, I was like, come to the studio. They come to the studio. We'll go have a good time. There was a ball pit at the studio at that time, and we just do a lot of fun things. And then it was just kind of like, we're always hanging out with each other. I'm always going to the shows. They was like, man, why don't you just come work? Da-da-da-da. And I was like, y'all don't want me, bro. I'm Mark. Like, I'm a fan. Like, da-da-da-da. And then, long story short, I ended up getting on to the content innovation team at the PC, which was the team that we had was myself, James Long, Jeremy Borash, Josiah Williams, Andrew Carr, and Huntley right now is on the team right now. They have a couple like Sean Wayne, a couple other guys that's still on that team. But our team was tasked with doing the most craziest things that wasn't the norm at WWE. So like the WWE PC channel was our channel. So documentaries for like Matt Riddle, Tommaso Ciampa, Tegan Knox, all the YouTube videos about the NXT women, like all the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Outside of like Chronicle and 30 for 30, like all those kind of, not 30 for 30, but like all those kind of things, like the 365 stuff.
Yeah.
All the stuff that was like predominantly focusing on NXT, that was us. So we were doing those kind of things. And it was great, man. It was like that for me. It was like I was just started at EA. I was living out my dream. I was like, wow. And then I go to WWE and like that at that moment in time, I felt like I accomplished something in my life.
Yeah.
I didn't care about pay. None of that stuff mattered. It was just about that I did something that my mom and my great grandma, Lord rest her soul, like they saw 3, 4, 5-year-old Cornell underneath my great grandma's hospital bed in our house, drinking Mountain Dew, looking at Shawn Michaels come out, and the Undertaker comes, and I'm scared. Like those are the kind of things that I felt proud, and I was able to tell my mom that I did it. I remember when I got the offer letter, I was at the studio in EA, and I signed off letter immediately. I didn't read what it said. They could have like, yo, welcome to Death Row Records. It's a 360 deal. I was like, okay, right. It was just like that. And I made 2 copies. I kept one. I still have it framed to this day, but I also gave it to my mother, because I also told her like, thank you so much for like. My mom would line up. Back down here in Orlando, we used to have a Ticketmaster booth outside of the old TD Waterhouse, but which is not a Kia Center, whatever.
I used to live out in Orlando. Yeah.
Oh, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So when they used to sell tickets out here, clearly like back in the in the 90s, we used to line up there 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and lo be assured, every single time WWE's coming to town, my mom would be there at 5 o'clock in the morning, lined up with us every single time.
That's so fire.
And I remember the first time, she was like, we were going to the show. I didn't know, and she told me. I was like excited, and it was like months down there. I was every day I was excited, and I remember she told me, she was like, "Baby, just know like I did my best, and not to like the closest, but you're gonna go." I had no idea what that meant, so we were in the nosebleeds, and I'm like, I think the fireworks are coming at me. So, and it was still a good time, but my mom felt so like she failed. So she worked overtime for like the next year and some change to make sure the next time they came to town, we were front row right behind the announcing table.
Wow.
And I told Lillian this story at the Raw 1000. I think it was Raw 1000 or whatever. No, it wasn't Raw. It was like Raw. It's like some type of anniversary episode of Raw. And I was at WWE, and we drove up to, I think it was Tampa or whatever it was. And I was so close to the ring that I got to talk to Lillian Garcia. And back in the day, my favorite franchise is Scream. And Scary Movie had just came out. They was like, "What is that?" And the Dudley Boys are doing it. So Lillian's literally like just finished announcing somebody, and a little 6-year-old Cornell's like, "Lillian Garcia." She's like, "Yes." I'm like, "What is that?" And she said, "What's up?" right back to me. And that was like the highlight of my life. And I think at that moment in time, my mom also felt like that was also like something good for her to cherish and for her to carry with, because like her son got to finally get what he wanted. So for me, I felt like I was able to repay that favor in a way of saying, you introduced this to my mom was a very big wrestling fan, man. Like she's not a wrestling fan anymore. She'll still keep up with it because she knows I'm still affiliated with it. But man, she used to I'll come home from school. She used to work at Time Warner back when they owned WCW. So the WCW talent used to go all through the building when they come to Orlando and all these big events. And she'll she used to bring me home signed towels, it could be anything she get her hands on to bring it home to me, because she knew that was going to be like the biggest thing for me. So when I gave her the offer letter, she cried in her room, and it was a cool thing for her, because she was like, "Wow, I didn't know that me liking something and passing it on to you was going to change your life and make you love it so much to where now you get to live out your dream." So yeah, and anyways, I'm sorry, that was long-winded. I'm sorry,
but you good, bro.
Yeah. So that my time at WWE was then. I got to work, with Triple H, with Shawn Michaels, with the Boneyard match. I don't, hey. Y'all still love me after this, but the Boneyard match, I was part of the team that filmed that.
That's so fire.
Absolutely, an incredible accomplishment, incredible, remarkable, like a lifetime achievement in my opinion.
Hell yeah.
To watch The Undertaker, mind you, again, he was one of the first wrestlers I saw when I first saw Raw back in the day.
Yeah.
And man, that was a life changer. We got to the site at like 11 o'clock. I didn't get home. I did not get home to my apartment till like 7:58 a.m. But you know what? I will tell you right now, I loved every second of it, man.
I bet, bro.
And like when I was driving home, I was like, "Yo, I just helped film the Undertaker's last match." Of course, this is all pre-tape, so Mania is happening later on. So I'm just I'm geeked. Hey, Mom, I know you don't watch wrestling, but I really want you to watch this WrestleMania one. Why? I just want you to watch. I can't tell you why. I'll tell you why when it's happening. So I literally had a mass text to every single person, like, "Hey, it's on. Watch this." So and a lot of stuff that I get at WWE was just it was amazing. It was life changing for me, and it was everything that I needed it to be.
Right on.
But then it was just at that time, I was like, well, I think I did everything that I needed to do for my dream. Well, dream 1A. But my other part of my dream was to fuse the wrestling and the video game together.
Yeah.
And was to be able to work in any capacity on WWE2K.
That's so fire, dude. That's so fire. And like for you to even like walk around and say that stuff, like that's something that like you get to carry for the rest of your life that nobody else gets to say. That nobody else can put like they stamp on type stuff. So like it makes me curious. Do you have a passion for like editing and stuff? Like is videography and stuff like a side passion?
Man. I do. I have a big passion for content creation.
I love that.
And like like Tez, Bianca, Omas, dogs, like all of my close friends, they know that because I'll send them like, hey, this is a good idea over here. Hey, this is a good idea over here. Hey, Josiah Williams, who was like one of the most like craziest content creators out there. Him and I, like, we should do this show called the Shortest Podcast Ever, which was basically like it wasn't a show. It was basically just like us doing stupid stuff around the PC and us see how long we can do something until they're like, what the hell are you doing? Like why do you have employees doing this kind of stuff? So when we did it, it was just like the internet loved it. And granted, it wasn't like going viral, no, but it was a good enough thing to where they were just like, hey, like, okay, we don't care, like, keep doing your thing, like nobody's worried about that. Like, all right, cool, great. But from then on, I've always been creative, right? And I've a lot of my life I always heard that I'm always too passionate, or I'm always have too many ideas and all this and that. I need to bring it in. And
Stop looking at me like that, kid.
All right, I'm sorry.
Hey, listen, I'm not trying to cause nothing here.
Nah, he's looking at me because I can relate. You know, everything you're saying is literally me, bro, when I'm over here. Like when I'm at my training school, bro, and I'm helping the other students with like trying to shoot promos, I'm out here trying to visualize the whole scene. I see it in my eyes, I see it in my head, and then I'll shoot it, and then I'll edit the John, bro, and I'll put it out there, and I'm just like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Or if it's not that way, it's fucking close, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm telling you right now, I always feel like the most creative people or the people that tap into their creative side so much, they're often misunderstood, right? Because they're looking through 5, 6, 7, 8 lens, and a lot of people look at life through one lens, which is their own, right? And I think it's just one of the things for me where like when I realized creatively for myself that I'm like, I constantly say this, like, I know I'm a creative MFer. I know I am. I know I am somebody that thinks outside the box. I know I am. I know I'm somebody that is super passionate. I know I am. But I also know that there's times where I need to get rung in. Like, hey, come on back. And I think some people love the first part of what I said, but not the second part.
Yeah. Yep.
Some people, but they have to understand that it goes hand in hand, right? And that's like anything that you do, because like sometimes, hey, if that's your boy and that's your brother, and he's getting out there, you got to bring him back in, and your brother has to be able to trust you to know that you're bringing it back in for a good reason, not just for nothing. And I think being at WWE kind of solidified that, right? Because a lot of times in life we seek validation through certain things, right? We seek validation through opportunities, through financial gains, through whatever type of gain, right? And for me, that was the biggest stamp. Was like, bro, my first day on the job, I'm sitting there and I'm on a computer inside the CIO, aka at the PC, and I got my laptop up and I hear a voice, hey, I don't know how to put this HDMI thing on. Can you help me? And I'm like, bro, I know Shawn Michaels ain't talking to me, bro. So I'm just gonna sit right here and not word. Bro. Like I'm not finna say a word at all. Like, no, I'm not, because I'm like, if I answer this question, you're not talking, I look stupid. It's my first day. Like, what are you doing? So I'm like, I'm like literally in the laptop at this point. So then walks over. Hey, yes, sir. Right? Like immediately, right? Like, yes, sir. And then like I went in there and I helped him put it on input 1, right? Which is like, cool, not a problem. He's like, hey, for now, can I help? Yes, sir, I'll help you anytime you need. Yes, sir. Those are to me, that was my validation that I was creative. That I knew how to change the channel for Shawn Michaels. right? But I feel like as people go through, man, and it's so hard, man. And it's so hard just in general because opportunities are very scarce. They're very rare. They're not as presentable as folks will like it. And and if you're not the most connected person, or you don't have the biggest financial bank account to be able to push through the doors instead of walking through them, right? It's like it's hard for you to get anything.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing, like I tell, like I got full boys, and I tell three of them that they need to remember and to continue to always be themselves, and to understand that nothing comes easy, and that everything's about the process is the process. And sometimes the process sucks, and it's like, like I don't like this part of the process, but there's always a part of the process nobody likes.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why when you reach the biggest stage of them all, whatever, and then that doesn't have to be the biggest stage to everybody, whatever the biggest stage is to you, whenever
Right.
you reach the mountaintop, that's what makes it the most rewarding. That's what makes you feel like you did it. And sitting at that PC, that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so fire, dude, man. Thank you for all that, man. That was so fire. All right, I don't want to like keep holding you up, you know, because I don't know what type of time restriction you
Diverting
on.
the conversation, Monty.
But man, it's crazy because it's like I'm hearing you talk and I'm just like, damn, yo, like I relate so much, bro. Because I look at life the same way, bro. And like I have two daughters, he has two daughters, and like we want to tell our daughters that same fucking mission, that same goal, that same end goal, where it's like just be honest with, be real and be you. Because at the end of the day, you're not always gonna fit in the norms, or you're not always gonna agree with this, or you're not always gonna agree with that, but you're gonna have to freaking eat chicken shit to make chicken salad. You feel me? And it's just like for me, for the 3 years that I've been actively on shows and on the independents, like I learned that so quickly, and the independents taught me that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very passionate myself, and like sometimes I struggle with that, like expressing it in a way where it doesn't seem like I'm trying to be aggressive, but it's not, and that's where I got Kid. Kid is that guy that reels me in, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, and I don't get mad.
I cut him off and I just hit him with diplomacy.
Yeah.
That's it.
But you know what, man? But you don't know how important that is.
Yeah.
You know why? Because he has somebody that cares about him. And I think that's also the thing too, that some people, unfortunately, you go through life sometimes. This is my own perspective, right? But sometimes you go through life, you don't really have a custom on like people that care about you. You know, people that say, "Oh, you my dog" and all that. But the people that care about you, they're also going to be able to talk to you down through the bad times where you don't want to hear a dang thing at all. You don't want to hear nothing nobody has to say. But if they love you and you respect them and they respect you enough, they understand that it's time that this is the most time that you need your friend.
Yeah.
Right. And when I went through my darkest moment, when I lost my son, I went through my darkest moment. It's all good, man. The first person, of course, Mark and I talked to clearly was like, our parents. But I had all my friends on the phone. Like literally, we was on FaceTime. I never seen that many faces on FaceTime. And then so we left the hospital, went to the hotel. Tez and Bianca was right there on the phone. They was like, "Hey, we know they know we could say to y'all, but we just want to sit on the phone. Like we can cry if you want. Like we can do whatever y'all want." And it's just like, a lot of times you really, and people always say, I really see who's there when I'm down and out. That's true. That is very true. And it's also the other side. You really see who's there for you when you're at the top of the mountain. Because if I'm really there for you, I don't need nothing from you. I'm just here because I love you.
Right.
Right. And I think for you guys, it's like what you guys have now is going to mean so much more when you're able to break through and get what y'all want. Because you're going to remember moments of like, hey, bro, remember that one time, bro, when we were trying to figure it out? You know what I'm saying? Exactly, right? Like,
now.
Already doing it.
You know what I'm saying? Like remember that one time, and we was like, man, it's just not working. We kept saying, keep going, bro. This is why we get, and it's that, right?
Yeah.
And I think the world is so much more a better place when folks are able to identify that relationship with their peers, because that's how much it means to them, and it's vice versa, right?
Yeah.
And then that means that you always have somebody that's gonna lift you up and keep you up. That's the thing. Everybody lift me up. No, you need somebody that's gonna keep you up. Okay, you lift somebody up, guess what? They can always fall back down.
Yeah.
Always fall back down, but you got to keep them up. And
Amen,
always,
bro.
but the key thing is you got to keep yourself up too.
Facts. Damn, bro.
This is like the most
Nah, bro.
fast-spitting.
Listen, man. Like there wouldn't be a reason for you saying that. You know what I'm saying? You're saying that for a reason. You feel me? And that's what I feel. I live by that. So it's like, just understand what you said just now resonated so much with the both of us. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
So let's get into those questions, dog. So kid, run up the first question that we got for Cornell.
The first question is, how long have you been working in the video game industry in total?
Man, so November, I think it's the 18th. November 18th marks my 10-year mark.
Wow.
No kidding.
Holy crap.
I am 33 years old. And I can say for most of my adulthood that I've been blessed and fortunate enough to be 10 years into it.
That's amazing.
I've been able to publish over, I think right now, 2K25 is my 12th title that I've been attached to that's been published.
Wow.
Which is
It's mine, bro.
Right? which is like insane. But yeah, man, and it's been a long time. And I tell you right now, it's been a lot of like, stuff you have to eat. And it's not like anything like bad, anything like that. It's just stuff you have to eat internally because, man, starting out, I wasn't where I'm at now mentally. Right.
Sure.
Folks that knew me at EA was like, man, this kid is just he's young but he's full of it. He just want to keep going. And I had to learn how to conserve myself, conserve my energy, conserve my mind, when to talk, when to be able to present stuff, when to just follow suit and let other people do.
Audio cut, Brody. Hold on.
He noticed it immediately.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
1 second. Cornell over there. He plugging it in.
Right.
Plugging it
Oh
in.
yeah, we back. We back.
Baby. We back.
All right, my fault.
No, you good,
But yeah, no, it's just like I learned a lot throughout my last 10 years. And I my biggest thing I realized within the last 10 years of the industry is everybody matters, right? And that's everybody on the team that you work with, but also everybody in the community, because one thing is a domino. One thing can lead to another, right? And that's one of the things that I learned that I still keep into this day, which is why I say I never take nothing personal.
Yeah.
When I interact with anybody, I never get mad, anything like somebody, I think it was today, somebody was like, you don't have to be pissed at me. I'm like, bro, what's gonna be pissed about? Like, there's nothing, like, bro, it's all love.
Yeah.
And the second thing I learned too is like, as passionate as I am about everything, and I don't everybody who knows me knows I'm a very passionate person. I also had to remember when I say, hey, Cornell Gunter is off the clock and I'm going to be a dad, I'm going to go be the family person that I am, I need to leave it there. And a lot of times, because if I had taken that weight on my shoulders after I clock out and do a lot of things, it starts to wear down, and then your passion becomes your job, and your job then becomes work, and then work, we all don't like to work. Right. And I think that's something that I learned. And that's why I was like, now I'm like, oh yeah, I can easily say, I don't get mad about that. Hey, no, that does not bother me. Hey, no, tell me your frustration, because I've been in it for so long. I've learned from my own mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, so right now, there was times where I did not handle stuff great at all. But especially like there was times where I did not carry myself the way I needed to do.
Yep.
But I also, with anything, you learn, right? And 10, like I said, 10 years, like for me, that's like, I don't know, man. It's also something because like I'm not a college graduate. I didn't go to no Ivy League school. I didn't do none of that stuff. I got to where I am by literally working my behind off.
Yeah.
And no handouts. I didn't know nobody at I didn't know nobody at EA Sports. Yeah. I met Tom Phillips because he came to the studio because he liked video games. We established a connection, but I still had to interview and sell somebody on who I am as a person to earn my way in there.
Right.
Me going to 2K, I had X amount of stuff lined up that I had to go ahead and knock out to make sure that I showed them that, hey, I can do what you need me to do. So a lot of my work came from just me being able to work my behind off.
Yeah.
Work my behind off.
Hell yeah, bro.
But god dang, it's been a long 10 years.
I was about to say 10 years.
Crazy, man. I can't even.
Have you been in anything for 10 years, Monty? Besides like school?
No.
Jeez.
How about you?
Yeah, railroading.
Oh yeah. Kid used to be on a railroad back in the day, man.
Say again?
He used to be on the railroad.
Yeah, I was a freight.
You on a railroad?
Yeah, I was a freight railroader. So that was my job for a while, about a decade of myself.
No, tell me that. No, we're not gonna skate over that. We're not gonna skate over that.
We could easily skate over that.
I am very. Listen, I'm so sorry, Al, but I really need to hear this.
I ended up getting a job working for a freight train company called CSX. That was oh my goodness, that was 14 years ago now.
Wow.
So that was 14 years ago. And just ended up running trains from Boston to New York, freight trains, so none of these cushy passenger trains, and it was crazy because it's every sort of weather. There ain't no holidays. There's nothing. You just work, and work. And you know, I ended up doing that for 5 years at one company, 5 years at another company that was a little bit more closer to home. But man, it wasn't easy, and it's kind of crazy how after having that job for about 10 years of my life, a decade of my life, it almost defined me, who I was, until I finally let it go and said, I'm going after my passions. I don't need any of this money stuff right now. I want to go after my passion while I still got some energy to do it.
Yeah.
So,
in which, I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. First off, salute to you or even making that choice.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate that.
I'm talking about going for your passion, because you know how scary that is.
Oh my God, it was terrifying.
To say, hey, I would much rather chase something that I know I love and I know I can do because I believe in me, versus keeping the financially safe route.
Nah, yeah, bro, big facts, bro. Because even that, like when he made that decision, when we met each other at Next Gen Pro Wrestling Center, like. He had no idea what I was going through at the time. I had no idea what he was going through. When I got there, dude, I was sleeping in my work van. I was dealing with a separation, all this stuff, man. I was going through it. And like, I really wanted to pursue my passion too. And I was living out in Fitchburg, Massachusetts, bro. And now we out here in New Hampshire. So it was just like, he offered me the opportunity to be like, yo, how about you just come move in with me? You know, let's chase this thing together and do it. And for me, I was so scared about it because the first time I had ever done that was I have passion for music. So like I did the same deal with homies about music, and I effed it up and I fell back into a cycle, right? And as soon as I fell back into that cycle, not even like 2 weeks, bro, I was like, yo, I made the wrong choice. I was like, if this opportunity ever comes again, I'm not messing it up. And then a year later, I meet Kid. We're doing this thing. He presents me that. And then 3 years later, bro, we're out here doing what we've been doing. You know, I've gotten to wrestle people that I've like can only dream of. We've gotten to wrestle on promotions that we're like, yo, we had for year 5, but now we're hitting at year 3, year 2, you know? So it was just like, it was crazy, dude.
And it is scary.
It's a reason why he was placed in your life, and it's the reason why y'all cross paths. The yin to your yang, bro. Like literally,
big facts, bro. I say he's like my soul, like my soul flame or something like that. Like I hear, you know, and it's just like, man, I used to tell myself, I was like, man, all I need is just one person to take a chance on me, bro. And it was him, bro. It was him.
And you know what, man? I think that's amazing. Salute to y'all.
Thank you.
Because you talked about some, and I know we got to move it along, so I won't give a long-winded answer. But you talked about how you had the same ordeal music-wise, and then you fell into an old cycle. You haven't made that mistake yet, again. So you should be proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Because it's not easy, and it's hard. It's hard when it's just something that you know, things happen, right? No matter what it is, right? It's hard. But then it's also good. You can look right next to you and realize that somebody's cheering for you just as hard as you're cheering for yourself.
Yeah. Big facts.
That's a blessing. That is a big blessing.
Thank you, dude.
I'm going to be going back through this pod, just re-listening to some of these parts, just being like, man, that's so cool and so deep.
That's fire. All right, run up that second question.
So we're talking about some of these challenges, some of these tumultuous times. What are some of the greater challenges in the 10 years that you've been in the video game industry that you've had to face? And how did you end up overcoming some of those challenges?
Myself was the biggest hurdle that I had to get over. My ego, my self-inflicted problems that I would bring on myself because, again, very passionate and young in the industry. You want to cover everything, and sometimes when you're covering things, you're not realizing you need to stay in your lane.
Yeah,
you have to like, because in the corporate world or in the big boy, I call it in the big boy leagues, right? Whatever, right? Everybody has a job because everybody's a team. It's not a one-man show, so everybody has their own responsibility. And when I first started out, I wanted to be the guy that the community saw, and I want to be the person that the athletes saw, but then I also want to be the person that was coming up with the creative marketing, but also I want to be able to get my opinion on the game because I knew more about the game than anybody. I'm sure they was like, man, if you don't get your behind up out of here with this bull crap, bro, just go do your thing. And it took me a long time to understand that. Because again, for me, I'm in that mindset, I'm just helping, right? But I also don't realize what I'm doing is I'm painting a picture to everybody that this dude wants to put himself over, or this dude does not understand what it is to work one position and maintain his position while letting everybody else do their thing. So then I look like I'm the rookie, which I am. And I think for me, when I learned and how I got through that was um when I got to 2K, which was like the biggest blessing because at that time when I got to 2K, I needed it more than they know. My son had passed months earlier. I had took like that transparently. That was the only reason why I departed WWE. And Stephanie and Triple H and everybody was absolutely supportive and amazing, and even still to this day. But they also understood that I have a wife and kids that I need to attend to, and I need to take time away because I have no idea how to be without a child because that's never happened to me before.
Yeah.
So I'm going through, clearly anything worse you can imagine, I'm going through it. So that was like a September of 22. And no, 21, I'm sorry. So then I get hit up by some folks. It was like, hey, we know you're, departing and going away, but whenever you're ready, like, would you be interested in potentially some stuff? And I was like, uh, yeah, of course, at that time, but I'm also I also at that time I needed to figure out what to do and figure out how to help my family heal. I wasn't even thinking about myself healing at that time. I was thinking about I need to make sure my kids and wife are good
Yeah.
and make sure I love on them and make sure that you can never feel anything of that. I was like, how do I cover it up? How do I cover it up? So at the time, I was taking my family out the country. We were doing all these kind of things. I was buying, financially throwing it in their face. But then when I got to 2K, uh, that was like the first time I had to like do things again because it's been months since I've been out. So it's like, hey, just come on, just chill, just like sit back, don't worry about it, just learn how to do things, learn this and that. Um, and that was hard because last time I was in that line of work, I'm all over the place, but then I had to slow down, I had to sit back. But also I need to just learn how to talk to people and learn how to communicate with my peers because I was tucked away in the house for so long, for months. I didn't talk to nobody. Like, of course, I talked to my friends, but then I also let that kind of just be when I'm ready, I'll holler at y'all. So I get to 2K and then it's like, hey, do you want to go to WrestleMania? And I'm like, yeah, of course, absolutely, thank you. So
Yeah.
then we go to WrestleMania, and I remember I got to the hotel room. I check in my bag, my luggage, and all that. I go upstairs. I come back downstairs. I met with my manager at that time. It was a great person. Got to meet him for the first time. Wasn't able to meet none of my coworkers, and then I met everybody. I started to meet everybody. And I was there. I was like, "Hey, sorry to have you here." Like, like a lot of things make me feel welcome. And from somebody that was so isolated, I isolated myself. That was months clearly going on. To be welcomed like that for people that he never met, that sent me through the roof. Like I'm not the Rock, but like you can't even see. But like
Yeah.
I got some, But I went back to the room that night and cried so long. Called my wife and cried. And she's like, are you sad? I'm like, no, I'm just so happy that I actually feel like I'm with people that care about me and people that love me. And I'm like, they don't even know me, but they made me feel like they love me more than than anybody that they ever met. And I think at that point in time, I also realized that I needed this more than they know. But then I also realized that then I started to mature and realize that okay, so maybe they're right. Maybe I can sit back and trust them and let them do the things. And when it's my time to step in and get something to the game, I will.
That's fire, dude. Hell yeah, bro.
That's amazing.
Hell yeah. And it's something about that. Like, I can't necessarily relate to the child completely, but I can in a sense at the same time, because like, my first daughter, we weren't mature, we weren't ready, and we lost her to the system, and it was a strong like 3 years trying to just fight that and having to deal with that and constant, freaking. We make progression and then degress and then all that stuff. So like for you to to deal with that shit, dude, it touches me really like hard, bro, because like
Hold on, bro.
For most people.
Hold on. Father to father.
Yeah.
You talking about your situation, right? I want you to understand, even though you have progress and it has stuff fall down, you still were doing the best that you can. God, I want you to understand that. When you're talking, I'm looking right into your eyes. I want you to understand something. You're doing the best that you could during that time. And even though stuff might have not been peachy crunchy and everything that you was hoping to dream for and things did fall down, you was doing the best that you could at that time.
Yeah.
So don't even. Yeah, I'm looking right.
Right?
Bro. I'm looking,
Dude.
bro. I'm looking right in your eyes right now, bro. I'm looking. I was looking right in your eyes, and that's why I said, no. Understand that,
Yeah.
and keep your head up and understand that even 3 years is a long time, but you still were doing the best. You know what? You fought for 3 years.
Yeah.
Some people don't fight a day,
Mhm.
and some people quit after the first time it get hard.
Yeah.
But you kept going.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
And you know what? Even when you had your own disappointment in yourself, you still were man enough to say, "I'm not done yet."
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I saw a look in your face, and I said, "Nah, don't. It's hard. It's hard. We all parent. Everybody on this call right now,
Yeah.
we're fathers, and it's hard. And the weight of the word that we carry, and sometimes we carried our own weight that we make up on our own shoulder because we challenge ourselves to do something. No, I want to give them this. So I know I got to do this and I got to do that. They don't. We do that to ourselves. Why? Because we want better.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's what makes us amazing parents. Because we want to do more than enough for our kid. Our kids can be like, "Daddy, I'm fine." No, you're not. I gotta go get you more. Why? Because I'm your daddy, and I know you want more. Why? Because I want you to have more. And to carry that kind of passion and grit and hunger to give your kids something. And also it takes a different kind of man to be able to say, I went through some stuff, I fell down, I'm still standing, I'm still fighting. No, I fell down again, but guess what? I don't care. I'm gonna dust myself off. I don't care how y'all see me. But you know what? For my kid, I love her. I can fall down a million times, but I'm gonna get up a million more. That's being a father. Because if your kids only can see the quote unquote perfection that you possess, what about the imperfections? So what about when they fall? Who like what kind of example can they look at for somebody to get up and say, nah, this is my hero. You know why? Because I saw him at the darkest time. And you know what? It might have been bad, but I also saw him break through. And I also saw my dad smile, and I also saw my dad get back everything that he might have lost. So nah, you are the superhero. You are. And you might not, there might be times you don't feel like it. But you are. Guess what? There's time we see stuff where Superman gets behind one time. But guess what? He's still Superman.
Yeah. 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 Thank you for that, bro. Thank you for that.
Well, that got heavy a little quicker than I was expecting.
Yeah, but I appreciate that, man. Thank
exactly
you so
what was
much.
needed.
But yeah, so it is so like inspirational, bro. I think it's very inspirational on your end, bro, to be able to do all that stuff and continue to do it, because it's like, you got people relying on you, and you're continuing to do that while you're also working on yourself. And like most people just get lost in one of those puzzles and then never find themselves again. So like continue to keep doing what you're doing, bro, on your end for sure.
Always. I never stop.
Yeah.
It shows.
What other question we got?
Oh man, we kind of touched on some of these just in our
just in the natural conversation for sure.
But this is one that is definitely a curious one. What is a common misconception in your line of work?
That we don't care. Y'all hear that? Internet, that we don't care. I think, and I'll communicate this without being able to cross the line of like full transparency.
For sure.
Not full transparency, but without cross the line of saying certain things.
Right.
But there's a misperception that, we can just do everything at a flick of a finger, or the misperception of, that, we don't care, or we don't watch the product, or we don't know this, or we don't know that. There are just certain things that we have to meet. There's certain, like B will hit on it. There's certain deadlines, and there's certain things that come about that we respect and we work with. Why? Because that's just what we do.
Yep.
And that's just it. And knowing that that's just how we have to operate, how we work, that's just how we do. And people don't understand that because they're not on this side, and that's okay. Like I can't sit up here and tell somebody, man, I know everything you do at your job, and if I don't, I just don't know it, right? And I think that's just the thing. Again, some people just don't know it, and I think it's just easier because sometimes it's just assumptions, right? I'm trying to figure out how to say this without kind of come across like like whatever. But a lot of times it's just assumptions sometimes, and their assumptions lead to their misguided knowledge, right? And again, it's like we cannot put people in that show up tomorrow. That it doesn't work like that. We cannot do certain things where if somebody cuts their hair off, it does not work like that. Things are cycles for a reason, and there's also there's just also a process for everything, and we will follow that process no matter what.
Yep.
And now, do we also look at what our community wants? Yes, but then we also have to be realistic. Making a game is not a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 day thing.
Yep.
It's a team thing and it's an effort thing. You have to make sure everybody's aligned across the board, and you also have to respect the bandwidth of everybody across the board. You don't want people to be, consumed with so much stuff, and it's like, well, okay, if so and so has 10 things on their plate, are you going to get high quality 10 things? You might. But if you're able to conserve it and cut it down to 2 or 3, and if you're able to work on that list of 10 continuously over the next X amount of time, that might work better.
For sure.
But I just feel like, it's just if we were able to fully disclose like B Will did. B Will talked about how there are certain superstars that have on certain things in our game this year, and why they do was because when there was a cutoff for stuff to be turned in for the roster, those superstars were injured, so therefore we didn't have access to them.
Yep.
And I think for the community, first they were just like, oh, okay, cool, they understood it, but then they was like, but what about this? Yeah. It's like again, that's why there's a process for everything. So again, and I'm not gonna say assuming. I'm just gonna say just like they just don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so the biggest thing is that there's a process for everything.
Yep. Big facts. Is there any more questions?
I think we got one more that I could.
Can we hit you with one more?
One more?
We good? Yeah, I bet.
All right. So this one is definitely one out of Monty's brain. So, what would be any advice to give anyone struggling to pursue a passion they believe is out of the norm?
It's out of the norm for them, or out of the norm in terms of other people?
In terms of other people, yeah.
It don't matter.
Simple as that.
It don't matter.
That's it.
No, because I'm gonna tell you why. If other people, so put them out. If you have a goal and you have a dream and this is a passion, this is what you want to do, and everybody else saying, "Well, that don't make sense. That's just too far fetched." Da 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 da. But guess what? I don't really need your dang advice anyway.
Right.
This is what I'm gonna do. And for a lot of times, and a lot of people, if you are basing your goals and your dreams and what you want to do off the opinion of other people, and if their opinion and their advice is not encouraging you to go pursue what's going to make you happy, then you don't need to have a conversation with them at all about your dream. You could talk to them about everything else. You could talk about football, basketball, all this kind of stuff, but you have to know your personnel, right? And I learned that concept on basketball, playing all the positions on the basketball court, but also use that same method of communication with everybody. Know my personnel. There's certain people that I know I can't talk to about certain things. There's certain people I know I can tell everything to. We have those things. Some people call those like best friends and all those kind of things. It's the same exact thing.
Right.
And when you are, and the most crucial thing is when you are going through life and you are passionate about, you want your dreams and your aspirations on your sleeve, and if somebody is telling you to roll your sleeves up so they don't have to see it, then you don't need to be around them in that vein. You have to continue going for you. You have to continue locking in for yourself.
Hell
Tell you right
yeah.
now, how many times, I don't know about y'all, but I heard a lot of times, you play the video games all damn day. That's you don't even have there ain't no job. You go got you need to grow up and da 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 da. Right?
Yep.
Parents said that.
Mm-hmm.
Now look, I've been in the gaming industry 10 years.
Yep.
Right? Granted, my parents, everybody parents the same. That's right. But it's exactly that, right? Where it was like, if I just would have stopped playing video games because my mom wanted me to go outside, even though I just came from outside, but she wanted me to go back outside instead of cooling off from the sun. Um, and if I just let anybody's advice to derail my future, am I living for myself or am I living for them?
Facts.
Is it my life or is it our life, right?
Right.
Right.
Because does that mean when if you do something that I don't like, you're gonna stop and change your whole trajectory of your life? Because I told you? No, you're not.
Mm.
So no, man, it's nothing's out of this world.
Yeah.
Nothing. I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
when you leave Earth, isn't there like a solar system with other planets and all this other stuff that you can go to and travel to? So nothing's out of it. It's just like there's always another thing to reach. There's always something else to go to. And I think as long as you believe in yourself, no matter what, as long as you fully believe in yourself and you fully work at it and you fully continue to grind and scratch and claw and go to where you want to go, you're gonna get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell my kids all the time. It's not about the time that you reach your destination. It's as long as you get there.
Mm.
It don't matter when you get there.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you get there, that's all that matters. It don't matter if it's tomorrow, a year, 5 years, 20 years. Get there.
Mm.
That's all that matters.
Hell yeah, bro. Man,
Wow.
thank you so much, bro. Like this was such a I feel like it was a well needed conversation. For me personally, I'm not sure about you, kid, but I definitely think for the listeners that follow us for sure, I think everybody's gonna get a piece of something out of this, man, because I definitely did. Is there any last minute, shout outs or anything you wanna get off your way?
Yeah, first off, shout out to you guys. Thank you guys so much. I think again, like I said at the top of the show, man, it's not easy to do this. It's not easy to create a channel, create a community, create a platform, and give yourself and be so vulnerable to give yourself to a public eye, people that you don't know, and then build that and grow with that, as well as maintaining your own personal life and your own professional life. And all. It's not easy. So, first off, hats off to you guys, salute to you guys.
Thank you.
Also, I want to always and forever shout out to my peers and my road dogs and the teams that I work on. Everybody at 2K and VCs. It's always, and like I learned so much. I learned so much. I get to sit under the tree of Lionel, B Will,
Yep.
right? Two guys that I watch. Just I'm pretty sure everybody else that's in
Yep.
the community, I watch and I love. And those guys, I tell them every chance that I get, you have no idea how much you shaped my life. You have no idea how much you shaped me wanting to be in this situation. You have no idea how much you shaped me wanting to grow and dream as a black kid to come into gaming, into the wrestling game. Because when I saw Lionel and B Well doing things, I was like, whoa. I'm now granted I used to watch Corey. I
Yeah,
love
Corey
always love Corey.
Desmond.
I always love Corey Ledet. Like so never ever no knocking all that. But when you see somebody that you feel like you can relate to me, that made me say, that's what I want to do.
Yep.
Nice.
Big
And
facts.
I still feel the same way every single time.
Hell yeah, man. That is so
So
awesome, dude. That
yeah.
is so awesome. Anything left from you, kid?
No, we've hit all the questions, and this was a much deeper conversation than I was expecting. And I'm just
That's but you know me, bro. I always
know.
want to do that. That's what I want, bro. Because a lot of people tend to like come on to pod or get asked to be on podcasts, and it tends to be like, you know, very cordial interview. I never want that. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be like whoever's listening is like in the room with us talking, or like you coming on here like being like, yo, I'm just chilling with the boys type deal right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want it to feel any type of pressure. You know, granted, while we were waiting for you guys, you know, to hop on, I'm like, yo, I'm so nervous right now.
sweating.
You think they're gonna pull? You know, like, dude, I was so nervous, bro. But like, you know, calm, cool, cause like just getting to know you now, bro. It's just talking with you, bro. I felt like I've known you for a minute now, and it's like I could just tell your energy, your vibes is so genuine, bro, and I respect and I appreciate that.
Man, it's not a problem. Please, man, listen. Nah, it's never nothing to be nervous about, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, man, we are human. I was really excited. Like I told y'all what I was doing before I came in. I was excited. Because like for me, it's just like it's cool, man, and getting to know people, and being able just to talk. Like, man, I love it, man. It's all good. I know, I tend to get long winded on certain things, so I'm sorry. I realized I realized I started doing that about like a year and a half, 2 years now. I realized I'm like, oh, I'm becoming that uncle and that dad now.
It's that
like,
wisdom, man. It's that experience and wisdom you trying to lay on, you know? Ain't nothing wrong with it though, man. Ain't nothing wrong with it, man.
Nah, it definitely comes from the heart, and it's always love. And again, thank y'all so much for having me on. And man, we can do this again sometime. I would love to, man.
Most
Always.
definitely.
And please, man, hey, man, keep in touch, man. Keep in touch, man. All right, now, come on, now. I don't want to come on your show and have heartfelt moments with you. And all. I don't ever hear from you again, bro. Like, come on, man.
So that make sure your Twitter DMs are notifications.
No, I got you.
On.
No. No, don't worry. I promise you. I got you. I got you. Not a problem, man.
Thank you so much, Cornell. And yo, shout out Al right here on the background. You know, he been low key wild.
My guy.
But if it wasn't for Al, you know what I'm saying, this wouldn't be happening right now. So Al, even though you're gonna stay in the shadows, man, we love and appreciate you too, bro.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate you guys.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir, man. Thank you. All right, man.
Wow. That feels like that was like one of those conversations where after you leave it, you're like, am I a better person now?
Yeah. Yeah. You know? It was just, man, we kind of touched base on it again, but like I'm always gonna be grateful. You know what I'm saying? Because like a year ago when we decided to like get serious about the podcast and stuff, we didn't think like a year later this is where we were gonna be.
Right.
You know, I didn't think we were gonna be at 50. You know, we're actually at like I think 67.
Wow.
On Spotify right now. I didn't even think we was gonna be at 50 in a year. I didn't think we were gonna have Mike Quackenbush on.
Nope.
I didn't think we was gonna even be able to score something like this. And it was a big blessing, you know. And it was just something that sometimes you look back and you're like, damn, all of this, you know, like the consistency, the damn, do we really have to record a pod today?
Right.
Like doing them on those days, especially for something like this, makes it all worth it.
Absolutely. It makes it special. It makes it, you know, because again, this isn't just for you and me to talk to people. This is for us to show everyone, hey, if you just peel the curtain back behind a person, just a smidge, you might be surprised at what you find.
Right? Because, like, I don't know, like, and again, we touched base on it, but like when I heard him talking about the losing the child thing, man, that just touched, like, I don't know, man. It made me just view him completely different because I promise you right now, looking at like him and his socials and stuff like that, like he's not out there throwing a pity party.
Nope.
You know, none of that stuff. Like he's out here the most positive. Like you see, like go through his stuff, man. He's very positive, man.
A very optimistic person.
Right. And like for someone like him to go through the stuff that he gone through, to still be that optimistic when there's people that have gone through similar things, if not worse or if not less.
Right.
treat it like it's the end of the world. You know, like there's no hope at the end of the tunnel. And like Cornell just brings a different type of energy. And I said it there, just a genuine vibe. Like, and it's such a rare personality,
Right.
You know, rare characteristic that you find in today's society now, man, because everybody's just so different. Today's time is just completely different compared to like when you came up,
Right.
I came up, even when I came up,
Yeah.
man, like because the trust and the realness is just not there anymore.
No.
And you could just tell, like with him, that's all he's been about, you know. And I related to a lot of the stuff he said, you know, being the passionate person, being all that stuff, like it was just cool to just see him. And it's just like, all right, if I just continue to do what I'm doing, you know, I know, like you said, it's all about just getting to that destination. As long as you
Right.
get to the destination, doesn't matter how long, it's just like as long as you get there. And that really resonated with me. And I was just like, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Because it, like, I'm seeing Cornell, I'm seeing, if he could do it, bro, I could fucking do it.
Right.
100%. You know, so it was just like, it was so dope, man. It was the energizer I needed, man.
Right.
I'm
This
not
is-
sure about you, bro.
This is going to be one that I'm going to have once it drops. I'm going to have it on repeat all the time.
Yes,
This,
man.
I expect all y'all neighbors.
Make sure y'all share this freaking
Right.
podcast, man, because this one was one for the books. And if y'all share it and continue to push it out there, that helps us be able to score more guests like him. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole point, bro. We just want to bring y'all a product that's different, man. They was telling us, man, off air that like the vibe is different. Mike Quackenbush said it. The vibe is different, man.
Yeah.
When you get on here, it ain't no show. You know, you could treat it like a show if you want, but it's just y'all are coming into our space, and we're just you're with us,
Right.
You
We want to
know?
make you feel accepted, comfortable, and just let's talk.
Like you in the room with us, man, and that's the vibe that we always want to do. This I kind of treat like when we have like, you know, I guess. I don't want to say high quality, right? Because I don't think that's the word, but
Profile.
high profile, like guests like him and Mike Quackenbush on our pod. Like, I treat it like how I would treat a new opponent when I'm having a match.
Right.
You know, I want to work so good for my opponent that like he walks away being like he wasn't sure because he heard that I'm a green kid. Da da da. I want him to walk away being like, damn, yo, I want to work that kid.
Right. I can't wait to get back over there.
Right, you know, and that's the same deal that I want to bring to everybody that joins this pod, you know, and anybody that comes on this pod, whether regardless of their stature, you know, like, you know, if you're a higher profile cat, cool, but I want you to have that same feeling.
Yep.
You know, I want you to be able to want to come back on here, not worry about like, man, we're gonna get hit with this, with that, with this, and that's not the purpose here, man. That's not the purpose. That was never the purpose from day one of this podcast.
Right. No. And you know what? I say, what has it been? You said a little, like a year since we got serious with this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And in a year, I mean, look what we've done. That's just putting in that hard work, being passionate about it.
Yep.
And again, as you said, on those days where, man, it was hard to record a pod, you still do it.
Yep.
Because it's the right thing to do.
So again, we really hope y'all gain something from this conversation today. I hope it touches somebody. I felt like just during the conversation, it was something that I personally needed. And Cornell hit us with some stuff that, like, you know, not many people talk about, you know,
Yeah.
or view in a different light comparatively. So it's just big ups to the 2K team. Thank you, Cornell, man. If y'all ain't following him, go ahead and follow him on the socials, man. Cornell Gunter, especially on Twitter. That's where I see him most active.
Yeah.
And just you know, continue to support us, continue to support them, continue to support each other. You know, because you need a team, man. You need a team, man. But enough of the chitty chatter, bro. You know the deal, bro. Kid,
Yeah.
drop those plugins.
Well, you can find me on the Instagram, the Facebook, the X/Twitter, ProResKidV, that is Res as in wrestling, and on the TikTok as Red_Head_J. Hit 'em up,
You
money.
can find me on the Instagram, the Facebook, the TikTok. That's Monty Ariez, MANIARIEZ, baby. And on the X/Twitter, it is Aries_Monty with AS. You can find us, the neighborhood, on the Instagram, number 4, the THA neighborhood, on the Facebook, the THE neighborhood, and And on the X/Twitter, it is PW_neighborhood, baby. Sheesh.
Right?
Man, y'all be safe going into this weekend and make sure you show a lot of
love and energy.
And with any situation that comes your way, approach it with one motto and 2 goals, baby. You know the deal. It's show up
and show out.
Yes, sir.
Would you be mine? Would you be mine?
And shout out D-Rock, D-Rock Vault and Studio .myshopify.com. Use neighborhood neighbor 20 promo code. Yes sir, baby, we love y'all.